So there is a group of 3 skills that is about exploring the world. Well, okay, let's just keep it here. But this is astrology, this is geology, and this is herbology. This is your skill at understanding the world and gathering alchemic ingredients and resources from the outside world. Then you've got the magic skills. That's self-control, which used to be known as, I forgot. Anyway, it's a good sign. It means that
concentration.
Yes, it used to be called concentration, but now it's self-control because that reflects better, we think, what it is really. Then, in addition to self-control, you've got battle magic, you've got social magic, you've got travel magic, and you've got domestic magic. So these are all the magical skills, a group of 5. And then in addition to that, you've got alchemy, which also covers cooking. You've got literacy, which covers reading and writing and copying books. And then you've got healing. And I think that's pretty much it.
Sounds right. And if you're talking about skills, we should mention that we are trying to simplify the visuals and overall representation of complex systems on the screen. And since the last stream, we've simplified visualization of levels of skills. So we don't show the fractions. We only show the level of a skill in theory and practice, and overall progress inside the level. So you know how much left for level up to the next level.
The reason for this is that we started with a pretty simple visuals for all the skills, and then I don't know how you guys are playing, but some of us are playing a pretty hardcore way, so we wanted to know that this is 7.22 or 3.13. So we felt that more data gives you more power to the player to plan, to predict, to understand. What we realized is that it's misguiding. It doesn't really matter if it's 322 or 382, because look at the research tree. This is battle magic, but this is not battle magic. It's astrology, just that the tag is wrong, but never mind. This is astrology research tree in the lab. So 0 level gives you knowledge of fish and meat. 1st level gives you knowledge of hide and the fat of the slug. And then you've got a bunch of other. Do we have tooltips there?
Yes.
Oh, it's Hyplex Eye, Drowner's Eyes, Giggler's Egg, Hollow Black Paw, Tasluk is there, pretty high up, Forest Cat. So all of that stuff you have to research. And as you see, it doesn't matter how far you are after a certain skill level, it just matters that you've got skill level 2, skill level 3, skill level 4. So you move from left to the right as you progress, and once you progress to, let's say, level 2, all of those special knowledge items become available to you. So we removed all those things like 0.22 and 0.72 and something, making it more simple. Also, this is an indirect control strategy. So you're not able to have someone send them specifically to do something which will increase just this skill. Let's say you send a party to a village, and as you move to the village, you face some combat, you make some discoveries, someone falls sick, someone is cured, someone dies.
So it's not deterministic, it's not so predictable what kind of experience they'll receive during the big quests outside of Spire. But inside Spire, more or less we know what's going on. We can teach them, they can learn by themselves, read books or research new knowledge that will give them some kind of predictable experience.
So you control the theory, but you don't control that much the practice, except for artificing. Then we had those discussions, like, how do I improve my skill of healing? And the answer was, well, most cases someone is already sick at the Spire, so you will not even have a problem like this. But anyway, we simplified the way we show it. Then you have character traits, which are the special characteristics of a character, like snores when sleeps, or is an optimist, or is brave. And then you have, if you look at the forum description, then you have those additional mechanics like stamina, which we don't show here, the current efficiency of actions, which we don't show here.
So it's mostly
Speed of movement.
it's hidden stats that change through time.
So for example, this guy was Sleepyhead, and Sleepyhead, this girl, this is our, okay, this is us. And Sleepyhead, as far as I recall, it's an outdated name. I have a new name right now. Sleepyhead means that they need more sleep. So that's someone whose desire to sleep is above average. So that increases your willingness to fall asleep. Wants to sleep, we have the state. Once that state shows up in your character states, and you can see them on the right side after the portraits. Once that shows up, then the character becomes less efficient. Less efficient meaning takes longer to fulfill the same quest, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
so
here you can see Britor didn't sleep well, so he'll be less productive during the day.
He's also lonely.
And starving, yeah.
And starving. And then there is a bug in this build, because his mood is shown as neutral.
Yeah, but he should be already depressed. He should be sad.
9 different moods. So going from the bottom, it's depressed. I forgot. Anyway, we spent the last
unhappy,
few days miserable,
yeah. Depressed, miserable, unhappy, normal.
There's a lot of discussions on naming of certain moods to make it clear and obvious, and I think we settled on one version. It's on the forum. What else? The rooms on top. So if you see, this is the new thing since last night.
We're working once again on simplifying the interface, reducing the amount of clicks you need to do to switch between different rooms. So we're replacing room navigation tab with all the rooms available all the time on your screen, and we're removing the names and keeping only the icons. So we're trying to make them distinguishable as possible and readable in a small size. There you have tooltips if you'll forget what this icon means, and it allows to quickly change the room where you're at and perform different tasks.
Release notes. Every time we make a new build, we now publish release notes in English and in Russian on the forums. So even though you cannot yet access the version, you already can see what sort of progress we're making, what sort of changes we're making, so that when we do enter the limited early access, you will be immediately able to join the same process. So our goal is to avoid situation where we have to do a lot of things just to go into the limited early access. No, the release notes are there, the bug reports are there, the description of all the mechanics is there. So we're building right now the foundation for starting the limited early access, which is not going to happen for another couple months, I think.
Yeah.
8
so
weeks,
here on
7.
screen you can see our forum, and the topic is version number 109.
It's from last night.
Yeah, up to date, and here are the changes, fixes, known issues. So we're trying to track everything that changes. So
we're trying to basically be already as open as we should be during limited early access, so that there's no change really. Cool. What else? Rita didn't do any new concept art for you guys because she's away on a convention.
Actually,
on an art
I
convention.
think we can find something.
She's in Frankfurt right now, or no, Düsseldorf. She's in Düsseldorf. So we'll see next week. She'll be able to tell us a little bit more how did the convention go. What else? We currently work, but we will not be ready to show it to you, on simplifying how you sort through tons of items in the inventory, the different item types.
I think we haven't discussed the rebalancing, reducing the amount of objects on a global map.
Yeah.
Interactive, low-level interaction level objects, for example.
Let's
amount
take a look
of
at yeah. Okay. So we've done 2 things. One, we made the starting area smaller and made sure that you start in the ancient forest, not just on the side of the ancient forest, but in the
Not near
ancient
the
forest.
village or some
Yep.
busy area.
Second thing, we've rebalanced the number of food items and simple resource types that you have around your spire. First, we went all the way to making it pretty scarce, then we went a little bit back, so now we think that represents more or less the way we want to see it. So here you see stuff that you haven't researched yet, marked with a temporary icon of a question mark. Some mushrooms, Raven's Eye is a herb, lead is a kind of a mineral or whatever the name is that we use.
Iron, yeah.
So there's your homework. This is what you'll have to work on as you start and play the game for the first few hours or weeks.
True, depends. For example, Monica, our localization manager and animator and artist, she been able to finish the game in a bad way. Her mage died in less than a year because he was starving in a bad condition, and overall
he had a health of 6.
Yeah,
which is
overall his stats were kind of low, so she lost kind of.
There's a forest cat upstairs, up there.
Yep. We've changed the size of creatures on the global map. We are still working on it, how to represent it, but more or less we are happy on the proportions and visibility of objects of interest. For example, here is a monolith, idol, visible on the map. At the same time, there's a creature or a tree, death flower, clearly visible. Our spire is quite big, and
down below you see the current quests and tasks. So you've got a couple of characters exploring and one character hunting. Again, that's in line with creating more and more shortcuts.
Recently,
the background is final. The background is final.
Yeah, we recently finished the background for planes. The name
Even
is
though
incorrect.
It says ancient forest.
It lies. We have
cloud of gnats. Okay.
How do you call it? It's response to the situation.
The guy is missing background. Okay. Anyway, still lots to do, so read the release notes to understand our tempo, and then you'll be able to see for yourself. Any questions?
I think the reason there is less visuals to show is because we are switching from adding new content to stabilizing the build, polishing everything that we already have, and balancing. Because the balance changes everything. It changes the feel how you play a game. Is it fun or no? And not always amount equals to quality. So we already have a lot of things in the game that should be properly balanced in between.
It's one thing to say we've got a new creature and then you throw in the new creature and do the description and so on. It's another thing to say, okay, one of those 12 buttons is not obvious, so let's change that button. Or let's say the text doesn't fit the screen, so let's think how we can change the text. Or even balancing stuff like finalizing, locking down the content. Right now, if you read any of those descriptions, the text is not final, really. This is, work in progress.
Draft.
Text.
It's a draft.
Yeah. But the thing we'll do next week, that I'll have to do next week, is basically sit down with everyone and lock down the structure of description of creatures and alchemic substances and resources and everything else.
Yep, and we have a question from a chat, couple of them actually. So yeah, if you have questions, you can write in chat. We'll try to answer them.
Does this game have 21:9 aspect ratio support?
Not really. We are trying to support more or less the generic proportions, 16:9 and 16:10.
No Macintosh. Now I have to play on a Windows
no Mac,
machine.
no Linux for now.
But that made me change from a notebook to a 2-screen PC, and I cannot now think of going back to MacBook, even though I'll have to do it on Monday. We'll see. Maybe on Monday I'll just.
The screen is too tiny.
I just love 2 screens. You've got the game.
Everyone loves.
You've got the forum. We use the forum to file the bugs. So I'm looking at the game, making a screen capture, going to the forum, describing the whole thing. How did I not do it before with the notebook, you know, switching and switching and switching? But we'll see on Monday. What else? The game looks great. Thank you. What will be the price? The price is described on the forums. I don't really remember. It depends on the currency. I know that we gave up on those $9.99, whatever, you know, 9 at the end price points, and we really love how the guys at Vuba, the guys that do Factorio, they make it simple. If it's a 20, then it's a 20. If it's a 30, it's a 30. There's no reason to.
So
make
approximately
it
we're aiming for $20
€20
in the US and
for
probably
the
20
rest,
euros.
I don't remember. I think it's like 2,500 yen or something.
Yeah, I think it's more or less
Speaking
like a
of
basic price.
Japan, the Japanese and Chinese texts, the first part of those texts are coming in 5 days. So eventually, I think in a couple of weeks, you will see in the build, we'll be able to show you some Japanese and Chinese text. If you're a part of those language groups, be sure to give us your feedback on the forums about the translation of the terms. It may not be obvious, but some of the terms are very specific in China and in Japan. So you have very specific things. Okay, so 17.5 British pounds, that's the price. $30 in Canada, $30 in Australia, 2,500 yen in Japan, 26,000 won in Korea, 98 yuan in China, and 600 rubles in Russia. I have no idea what that means. If you have feedback on this, feel free to let us know on the forums. We always love feedback. Any other questions? Is the game available right now? Will it support Windows 7? What is Windows 7?
Windows what? Okay,
7.
Windows 7, I know.
You know, because I have no idea.
Windows 7 is older version of Windows, so it should work. We haven't tested it yet there, but I think it should. Mostly we require hardware specifications to be up to date, so it's not super old PC to work.
But this time the game is not super fast. I'm sorry to say that.
Actually, I should say that previous 2 or 3 weeks were spent on optimizing, and for now we have quite a big performance boost since then. So for now, game can run like
we should really
20-30 hours per second.
We should make it optional that it gets dark and light.
Yeah, so
I have to remember.
We can see the simulation of a day is quite fast, and our mage died actually. So that's it. That's the game.
But I'm looking at the stream. It's a bit distracting, like this.
Yeah, it flashes too much. We will reduce it or remove it.
That's the end.
Yeah. The game ended because our mage died of starvation, I think, because he already has -3 health.
I wasn't aware you can have -3 health.
Okay, and we've optimized save load performance as well. Now game loads in a couple of seconds. Previously it was like 30 seconds or more.
But because saves are incompatible between versions, guess who needs this?
Now.
No one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
For testing, it's still good.
What else? Do you want to talk to Nikita?
Yeah, we can call our guest Nikita, our logic programmer and game designer, to discuss
the father and mother of multiple bugs that show up.
Yeah, and ask why nothing works.
Yeah, so he and Sergey Kufin,
let's create a new campaign.
Profasa, they're responsible for most of the game events. They're designing those events like you enter the cave and you discover the
Let's
door.
start a game where our mage Alistair stole some pretty rare book.
The control of behavior of the lower forms of life, plants, animals, and people.
Sounds nice. Let's go.
It's a rare book.
Yeah, and I hope he has high monstrology skill to read it.
So let me give you my...
Yep, you can mute it. So people who watch us right now have time for writing some questions about the game design and logic overall, how it works.
goes on and then switch to testing.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, it should be fine.
I so
If the light is green, then it's fine.
Good.
Probably.
Hello, hello, Nikita.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hi.
and the game has loaded perfectly right on time. So
Okay.
tell us what was happening the last 2 weeks.
Okay, for last 2 weeks, I think the first week was creating some game logs. Before we had only logs for
game
our
log,
quests.
Sure. Let's see the log.
So now they are mostly sleeping and resting because we don't have any tasks.
Yeah, we just started the game and we haven't
yes.
assigned any tasks.
So as you see, this log only for characters that are in Spire right now. So those who are in quests, they will get their own log with events and so on. And those disciples who will learn something or read something, they will get the common log for all these things.
So it's useful thing to track all the activity in the Spire, so you know what's going on, who's doing what. Mostly per daily basis. What was done during today or yesterday?
I think something is wrong here.
Yeah, he is not teaching them because it's night, probably.
No. I think something is just wrong there.
There's always something wrong, so it's
probably
fine. Okay, so
maybe
game
we will get them some reading or something.
Yep,
some books. Okay, so this will be the log for tracking all the things disciples are doing in the Spire. So you can see who is reading, who is teaching, who is idling because he doesn't have nothing to do. Of course, there will be some warnings just to show that okay, you have disciples that don't do nothing. So this is what game log. We are thinking about some different filters that will help. So there is something wrong after
and
all.
it crashed. It's fine.
Okay. Probably something with item or maybe in some event. Okay, it happens. And of course about teaching, this week I've returned to the teaching task and tweaked some logic with it because earlier disciples took their tasks for thinking of their own interests and so on. So, but one thing can happen, that there is a teacher and no students, or there can be a student and there is no teacher. So
you're talking about the problem of the tasks that's more complex than just hey, you cook some food.
Yeah, when you have a task where to read a book or craft a thing, they will just, okay, I like to do it and I will do it. And when we are talking about something that when two parties should participate, not only the one, then it's become more tricky because we need to guide,
synchronize them.
Yes, to synchronize or guide them.
So they'll finally meet and do their job.
Yeah, or they just, I didn't find.
So what's the current solution? In a couple simple.
So the current solution is to play from the teacher. If there are some students that want to teach this hour, then he will try to find some students that want to learn. Maybe there are situations when students take they take a lesson without a teacher, but then they just rethink of their actions, and maybe they will go to another lesson that has a teacher, or they will do something else, maybe to craft some things they wanted to do before. So the main thing behind it, to have a task for students always, and to try to find to gather groups So if we have a lesson, then
Okay.
we need to find all participants that want it. And of course, the tricky thing is that because we don't want to give students some must-have tasks. We thinking of priorities, so some tasks will be more important than others, because sometimes you just need to craft that thing, and you don't want
So you're thinking about adding priority to the tasks.
Yeah.
Like at least high priority check marks, so it's possible to prioritize
maybe at the base level. Yeah.
So it's work in progress. It's not confirmed, but maybe we'll have priority tasks. And maybe something gone wrong. If you can see us, please write in something in chat. No, you cannot see us.
Why is that?
Do I know? Okay. Should be online in a minute.
We are back.
Soon.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. I think we are back. Sorry.
Yeah.
So what we was talking about?
We
about
were
the priority.
About priorities. Yeah. Yeah. It's still in discussing and how it will be implemented. But priorities in our ideas is not something that will send students right away to do this task. They will think of this task higher. They will think, okay,
so it will be
there is something that Mage really wants. Maybe I should to do it.
There is a chance it will be.
But yeah, of course, maybe
higher in a to-do list of a character.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's some indirect tools to bend the will of a character.
Yeah. And when you don't have an exact tasks, an exact order of things that students need to do, disciples need to do, so that happens that they decide on different things. But it is a main task for us to balancing it, to make it more interesting to see what they are doing and what they are going to take.
And more or less predictable.
Yeah, probably yeah. You will
so
see.
It's not just random chaos
of course,
for a player.
Because they don't pick it up on random. They are picking up, deciding on they're interested to the theme, to the type of quest they are making. And there are of course different priorities for different types. For example, for teaching, as I've played with it, there are different sort of ideas. For example, that you are less disciple will less less likely skipping the lesson from a mage, for example, because it's a mage. you want
it's dangerous to skip lessons.
Yes, because he will definitely notice that. And there are more likely teachers and less likely because of their charisma stat. So disciples will lean more to those with high charisma because, hey, he's so fun as a teacher. He will not mumbling some things I don't care about.
Okay, so if you want to increase the popularity of some class, you need definitely to choose the most charismatic teacher, right?
Yeah.
And preferably he should know something about the skill he's teaching, right?
Yeah.
Just a little.
Of course.
Good. So that's about some updates in hidden logic, like inner behaviors of a character and all of this stuff. We've been discussing the problems that we experienced. There is some crashes and there are some problems. Not always stuff works. Any idea about the reasons and what we are doing to avoid it and what's going on overall in the development field?
So we have different parts in our development because we have a visual engine. We are using Unity with that. And we have our logic engine where we are writing all the logic behind the game.
Yeah, so they're absolutely separated. We have a logic editor with all the tools required to writing all the quests, skill stats, and all the information from the game, all the Wikipedia knowledge, and etc. etc.
And here we have different things. Sometimes we have everything okay in logic, but something when it transfers into visual engine, something breaks, and we need to find it. Sometimes it's only logic because we are implementing new things that can crash some older things, and sometimes we rework something that wasn't okay.
So we are refactoring things and trying to improve
and of
them.
course it sometimes breaks something too.
To improve something, you need to break it first, right?
Yes. And that sort of happens, and we are trying to fix it quickly because everything depends on the stability. Because so we have our game designer
if we
who
want
needs to iterate through
if
the
we
game.
want to release the closed beta for players to test, we want it to be more or less stable, so so they can find
yes,
bugs later in the game than earlier.
Of course, for some closed beta, it should be bugs that we didn't stumble on.
Not some obvious one.
Yes,
like I started the game and it crashed. Whoops.
Oops. Something.
Okay.
We didn't launch it.
We'll do better than this.
Yeah, of course.
The game will start, but who knows what will happen next.
Yeah, maybe there will be a new game. Yeah, and Andrei mentioned our save load system and that it started to work more faster, but in the same time it brought different sort of problems that we didn't anticipate. So I think in some form it made our testing even slower. But it's something that we
it helped us to
change.
find some problems that we had internally and we wasn't aware of.
Of course.
So it helps.
But it's something that can stop the process or can slow it.
Of course, anything that breaks the game, stops the development of some features, or just delays them. That's true. Okay.
So, did you talk about changing numbers?
Yeah, about simplification. Also, let's go to the character profile, for example. Sure. We removed not only the fraction numbers from level indicator, but also we removed the delta value. Yes, the difference between practice and theory. We decided to show it only on a critical level when it's the difference between levels inside one skill is too high, and you cannot move. You cannot gain new experience in a theory unless you rank up the practice, or opposite situation, the marker will show that there is a problem and you need to level up your theory before you can start practicing.
Yeah, because you can practice, but it will be much slower.
Yeah,
without a theory.
So they're interconnected, and the warning information will be shown only when it's required, not always, because it's not so important to see the current state. It's important to see if there is a problem. Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Like that.
What we have to show you, I'm not sure.
I think Rita said something that.
Did
she left us something to show?
We haven't discussed global map, but we already shown it to you. We've redrawn and we were working on points of interest markers. Like, for example, here's the spire, and here is the ruins, and here are the other ruins. So we're trying to separate them from a decoration layer background. All the trees, lakes, and grass, fields, it's all not interactive background elements. And interactive elements are what we are looking for as the main objects on a map. So we need to see them clearly from afar. They should be readable, and that's what we are trying to achieve here. So here you can see we have found some village, so it's clearly pops out from a map itself. Here's a mill on the fields and so on. So that was the goal, and I think we more or less achieved it. We just need to polish the illustrations / icons, and that'll be it. For now, Rita is working on distorted lands elements for a global map.
It's more like the end game.
Yeah, we won't show you work in progress for now, but maybe later on the streams they will be available, and it should be interesting to watch. And Rita will join us and explain something about the process behind them. And we're offline again. Jesus Christ. Okay. Yes, it is. Okay. So we should be back online, and yeah. So we're online, and I think we should finish because we have some technical problems with the connection today, and stream stops periodically. So
Sadly.
yeah, sorry about that. I'll remind you about our YouTube channel where you can watch our previous episodes of live streams, both in Russian and English. We have our Discord where you can chat with developers and ask questions. Also, we are showing some sneak peeks of the most interesting parts of development. We're trying to, at least. And also the forum where we keep all the information in one place. It's like a huge Wikipedia about the game, where you can find all the terms, explanations, icons, logic, and our plans, and what was done, what will be done.
And where can you ask all the questions, of course?
Yeah, sure. In all these places you can ask questions, and we're trying to be in touch with community, so everyone knows what's going on. We like to share stuff. So that's it. If you don't have any questions, thanks for watching, and see you on the next week on a Russian language stream, or week after 1 week it will be in English.
Yep.
So yeah, thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you. Goodbye.
And bye.